New today, the TTC announcing changes to a route that's causing frustration for commuters lately. So starting on Monday, the 510 Spadina bus, which is a replacement for the streetcar, will no longer be operating on Spadina Avenue between Front Street West and Queens Quay weekdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Joining us now to speak about these changes and the work that's underway is spokesperson Stuart Green with the TTC. Stuart, thanks so much for joining us.
Good afternoon, Faiza.
So just for background, the 510 and 310 Spadina streetcars were replaced with bus service because of construction and infrastructure work that the TTC needs to get done. What's behind today's decision to modify the route?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, we're doing that work at Spadina Station as well as some work around King Street and down onto Queens Quay. And this is all overhead work. We've also got some work being done at Spadina Station. So because of that, we can't run streetcars. We just can't. So we put the bus replacement into place June 23rd, so almost 2 weeks ago. And what we saw almost immediately was buses getting stuck in that congestion. I mean, anyone that's traveled through the Spadina and Front Street intersection in the afternoon knows what a nightmare it can be. So we had buses that were getting stuck there. They would come down Spadina. They were making okay time. They were still in mixed traffic because we can't run them in the right-of-way simply because they're too wide, and there's also work in the right-of-way. However, we were able to get buses down there in pretty decent time. But then once they got to King, Queen, and then certainly by Front Street, they were backed up one after another. And we had sometimes 20 buses that were getting caught in that really bad congestion south of King Street, right down to Queens Quay. That is not good service because the people then that are waiting to go north are waiting those 20 or 30 minutes for their bus to come. So we were seeing trip times that were more than tripled. We were 20 to 25 minutes in normal traffic, and we were seeing trips of over an hour for some of these buses. So it simply wasn't sustainable. And this is a project that's going on until December. So we needed to make some adjustments. This is our way of making those adjustments. The traffic, of course, in that intersection is not us, but we can get around it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this left turn onto Front Street, then go around Blue Jays Way, back to Spadina, and then north on Spadina. We'll have some traffic wardens there from the city helping direct traffic, allowing our vehicles to get through and make that left turn. Unfortunately, though, what it means is that we will not have any service southbound between Front and Queens Quay. And there are a number of condominiums in that area, as well as a daycare center, community center. So for those hours, we're simply just not going to have scheduled service. But we are making accommodations for anyone who, say, has a mobility issue. Perhaps they've come from shopping and they have a number of bags. We will put the odd bus down south on Spadina past Front for people that need that accommodation. So no one will be left on the street if they cannot walk or make their way down. But really, there's no other way for us for the time being except to try and avoid that congestion.
But Stuart, let me ask you this. This is a planned project, nearly 2 weeks into this construction work here. Couldn't the TTC anticipate that congestion was going to happen, that travel times were going to increase?
Well, we did. We didn't think it was going to be this bad in real time. This, of course, a lot of the work, the prep work that we did in conjunction with the city was done in advance of the Gardner lane restrictions coming into place. So we're now contending with that as well, and that seems to be a major source of the issue on Spadina in the afternoon. People getting onto the Gardner with those lane reductions. So we did prepare, and we just didn't foresee it being this bad. I'll be honest with you. So we've had to adjust in real time. What I will say though is that the city is still at the table with us. They've been a great partner trying to find other ways to make transit and cycling, safe cycling in that area a priority. So that work is ongoing. So this isn't the only thing that will be done between now and December. There is some other work that the city is going to do and hopefully bring some motions to City Council in July. And maybe there's other ways we can improve traffic at those specific times of day in particular when we have the real challenges.
Stuart, when it comes to this work being done, and I know there's a lot of frustrated transit users out there, the question is, why aren't these projects planned out better, well in advance? Why isn't there an understanding of the impacts that this work will have on commuters?
Yeah, trust me, we absolutely understand that frustration. This particular intersection, anyone who's been through there knows what a nightmare that intersection really is. And it's vehicular traffic, it's not our traffic, but we have to get around it. So when we do plan these projects, we do work with the city, we work with utility companies, Consumers Gas or the cable companies, anybody who might have work, Toronto Water, who might have work underground. So we always try and coordinate these works. The reality in Toronto is that this summer is particularly bad when it comes to traffic congestion and overlapping projects. And it's just a matter of needing this work to be done. We can't put it off any longer. There's, of course, Ontario Line construction that's, of course, essential to improving transit in the city. So, I know it's cold comfort for people, but we do think it's this short-term pain for a much longer-term gain. And as I say, we do try and coordinate these things as best we can, but the reality is there's just an awful lot of construction in downtown Toronto this year.
You have Deputy Mayor and Area Councillor Asma Malik putting out there a call to the TTC. I know you mentioned some traffic wardens there, but
Yes.
Is there a possibility to speed up construction on this stretch to alleviate the pressures being felt by road users?
Yes, absolutely. So in terms of the things that are within our control, we've worked very closely with Councillor Malik's office because, we know that it's her residents that live in the City Place condos that are particularly impacted when it comes to getting home in the afternoons. So we've looked at other measures. The schedule that we're on, so between June and December, that is an expedited schedule. But we continue to look at other ways that we can speed that work up, perhaps rejigging the way the zones work so we can get streetcar service, or at least partial streetcar service, back sooner. So all of those things are underway. And as I say, the City of Toronto is also looking at other things that can be done on the roads. We don't have any control over the road network itself, but certainly the city is with us, asking us what we might need to make transit better down there and keep pedestrians safe, keep cyclists safe, keep everybody safe. So all of that work is underway. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll have even more announcements about traffic improvements in that area.
For TTC riders who are going to be impacted on this stretch here on Spadina, you mentioned being able to accommodate some people there, but I guess what message do you have to those riders come Monday? What options do they have to get around on that stretch?
So I'll tell you what's happening right now, and that is that people are literally getting off the bus when it gets down near King Queen Front Street and walking. That's what people are doing today. So really, we're seeing what makes sense here, and what makes sense is if we've already got empty buses, why would we put them into that traffic congestion south of Front Street? The idea is that once those buses empty, because people are already getting off now, what we're going to do is get them a little further south. If people need, there's a couple of options for people. If they want to stay on, they can do the loop around Blue Jay Way, get back to Spadina, sort of somewhere near Bremner and Blue Jay Way and Spadina area. So that might be a little further south for them. And the other thing is, no one will be left behind for anyone who needs accommodation. So like I said, anyone mobility issues or people who may just have a lot of shopping or a baby carriage or something, they will be given consideration. We'll have TTC staff, supervisors on site at Front and Spadina and King and Spadina to make sure that people are accommodated. We'll put the odd bus down Spadina south of Front Street if we have to, if people need that accommodation. But the buses right now, they're basically running empty once they get to Front because people are just getting off and walking because it's quicker.
And we did put that to the test yesterday on CityNews
Yes,
with
I saw
Spadina
that.
Sprint, and we showed that it's much faster to cycle and walk, and it took way longer for those buses to move through that section there. Stuart Green with the TTC, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks, Faiza.